I'm an ER doctor, but I'm also a bass player, which is why my wife Cheryl and I moved from Shreveport, Louisiana to Austin, Texas in 2003. I had a new ER job there, but we also wanted to be right in the middle of Austin's live music scene. It's also where we opened our fitness and weight management clinic, the first of its kind in Austin. You see, just a few years earlier, I had taken care of a 34-year-old man brought to the ER having a heart attack. A heart attack at 34 years old. You've got to be kidding me, I thought. I was still in my 30s and I thought I was bulletproof. This patient was overweight. He smoked a pack of cigarettes every day, and his wife totally threw him under the bus, telling me just how lousy his diet was. I looked down at the 30 pounds I'd gained during my medical training, and I spent the next few years before I moved to Austin relearning how to get fit and healthy again. And our clinic in Austin was going to help others do the same. So by 2006, I'm working nights in the ER, coming home to sleep a few hours, then driving to see patients in the clinic all afternoon. Day after day, week after week, it was ER, home, clinic, ER, home, clinic. 2 years later, the clinic is still thriving, but the grind of the two jobs is really getting old. It was time to go all in, so I quit the ER to focus on expanding the clinic. But unfortunately, I was leaving the ER right as the 2008 recession was rolling in. And over the next 2 years, everything began to change. Our patient volume dropped, and we began to go into debt to pay our expenses. But we had this credit card machine at the clinic, and we had 8 credit cards with different lines of credit. Every month, Cheryl would juggle those cards like a pro, borrowing from one line of credit on this card to pay the balance on another. She kept our clinic alive for months, until Christmas 2011. I remember sitting by the Christmas tree at my parents' house, watching our 7-year-old son Jake open his presents. He unwrapped this army green jumpsuit, the kind the military pilots wear, and he tried it on. It fit him perfectly, and he was smiling from ear to ear. But I knew where Cheryl had bought it. She had bought it at Goodwill, the only store she felt we could afford to buy gifts that year. 3 weeks earlier, she'd walked into my office and told me, "We're broke. We have no more credit. There's nothing left in the bank. I don't know how we're going to pay the mortgage next month." So after Christmas, I rounded up a lifetime collection of guitars, basses, and other equipment, and I drove to a local music store. I sold everything I owned at a fraction of what it was actually worth. I made just enough to pay the mortgage that January. Thankfully, I found an ER job again pretty quickly, but now I was cobbling together shifts at different ERs across Texas, driving 2-3 hours outside of Austin on the weekends to make ends meet. Amazingly, we were able to keep the doors to the clinic open a little while longer. But just as I was thinking, we're going to be all right, we're going to make it through this recession, we're going to be able to keep the clinic open, Cheryl and I pull into the driveway after a long day at the clinic to find a large black and white sign taped to our front door, threatening a lien on our house. We owed $18,000 in back taxes, and the IRS wanted their money. So, as a trained, seasoned, 50-year-old medical doctor, I turned to the only place I could think of for help. "Hi, Mom. Can we borrow $18,000? That loan from my parents saved our house and allowed us to keep the clinic going for 1 more year before we finally closed it down. I've worked in ERs ever since that day, but I've never lost my commitment to helping people reverse chronic conditions that I know can be reversed through weight loss and fitness. But just like my financial troubles slowly crept up over time because I ignored what was happening around me, millions and millions of Americans are ignoring their health and the slow, insidious changes happening in their bodies at the cellular level. But today, along with a new partner, we're bringing the protocol I developed and taught in my clinic to you and your family. My goal is to help millions of Americans reverse pre- and type 2 diabetes, and we're doing it through an online platform to reach as many people as possible who need our help. To learn more, go to type2tohealth.com to take control of your health and lower your A1C and be part of the movement in eliminating type 2 diabetes.